Corona shutdowns an excuse to move back with your parents? No! Did you see that? Did President Trump disrespect fallen soldiers as losers and suckers? Nah, I doubt it. These are coming from the people who most disrespect the country and the president and the troops. So, also, Fox News reports an al-Shabaab attack. This is breaking news. U.S. service member was injured in Somalia. That's where Ilhan Omar is from, by the way, as militants targeted troops with a car bomb and mortar fire. More details to come later. This is the end of Hour 1, Monday, September 7th, 2020. Stay tuned for Hour 2. It's 6:55 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Happy Labor Day, you communist, liberal, socialist people. And the rest of you, happy Monday. Awesome, right? Young folks are living with mama. Drudge reports for the first time since the Great Depression, most adults under 30 are living with their parents. Pew Research reports, due to the coronavirus outbreak, it has pushed millions of Americans, especially young adults, to move in with their family members. Although that is false. It was the pressure from the liberal shutdowns due to the pretense is the coronavirus. And the weakness and conditioning of the people, right? The share of 18 to 29-year-olds living with their parents has become a majority since the U.S. coronavirus outbreak began spreading early this year, March especially, surpassing the previous peak during the Great Depression era. In July, 52% of young adults resided with one or both parents, up from 47% in February, according to analysis of Census Bureau data. The number living with their parents grew to 26.6 million, an increase of 2.6 million from February. Across the board for all major racial and ethnic groups, men and women. And by the way, more men live with their parents than the women. And metropolitan and rural residents, as well as in all four major census regions. Growth was sharpest for youngest adults, ages 18 to 24, maybe staying out of college, I guess, I don't know. And for white young adults, who went from 42% living with their parents to 49% living with their parents. The POCs, the people of color, already stay with their parents more frequently than whites. Before 2020, the highest measured value was in the 1940 census at the end of the Great Depression, when 48% of so-called young adults lived with their parents. The peak may have been higher during the Great Depression in the 30s, but there's no data for that period. And Drudge has some headlines on the Trump wounded or killed veterans phony story. Election fallout after the president reportedly insulted dead troops, says the far-left Bloomberg so-called news. And veterans are divided about reports that Trump disparaged the military. There's a bunch of liberals who are so-called veterans, right? Claims the far-left AP, which has also no respect for the military or America. The story goes that the extremist anti-American outlet, The Atlantic, which has employed radical BLM, Black Lives Matter types like Ta-Nehisi Coates and other scum of the earth who hate white people, and America, cited four anonymous sources who claimed that the president referred to certain dead troops, Marines who died defending Paris from the Germans in World War I, as losers and suckers, and privately called John McCain a loser, who is a loser, right? In 2018, after he died. But everybody knows that John McCain, a rhino, no loyalty to America, hated the president, was a loser. Was John Kelly a source? So supposedly suggested President Trump, saying that he couldn't handle the pressure of his job at the White House. John Kelly, former chief of staff. That's from the foreign outlet, The Independent. No denial from James Mad Dog Mattis, who also turned out to be pretty weak and liberal hater, Trump hater. The mainstream media brought up President Trump dismissing the temporary brain injuries suffered by U.S. troops in an Iranian ballistic missile strike as headaches, which indeed many of them were. Also remember the Democrat Muslim parents of a fallen soldier who held up the Constitution at the Democrat National Convention. I'm James Hake.